Hey, hey.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to our platform. This is Terrence and Jill, God-Ordained Union.
Mm-hmm.
We've been here now, we've been married now for 2.5 years,
Yep.
and we are excited.
Yep. So if this is your first time on our channel,
Yeah,
we're newlyweds.
yeah.
We don't give relationship advice.
No, we don't.
But we will share our testimonies.
Yes.
So go back and watch our first videos. We got hundreds of videos up there, but go watch out like our first five. You'll hear about our story. But we're simple. This channel is just real simple. We're here to what we here to do, baby.
We're here to promote and to help increase kingdom marriages.
Yeah.
And we're going to do this just by supporting you. For those of you that are praying, that are waiting, that are looking for God to connect you to your soulmate and the
Mm-hmm.
one that He has for you, we're here to tell you that it's not too late for you.
It's not too late.
We're here to show you examples that the things that you're going through right now, we've gone through them,
We've been
and
through
we
it.
can sympathize with you. We can agree with you on prayer. We can just help you understand that you are not the only one that is still looking to be married and hadn't gotten married yet.
Yep. So our mission is simple. We're here to encourage you and inspire you and to remind you that God has designed your person.
Yes.
And guess what? That person already exists. It's just a matter of time
Mhm.
for you all to come into
Yes.
manifestation and meet. But the person is already created for you. So that's what we do here. We don't give relationship advice. We're just here.
To say we've been there, done
We've
that.
been
We
there, done that.
understand, and it's all good. He
It's
hasn't
all
forgotten
good.
about you.
Yep.
Just keep on believing.
Yep.
Keep on because you're a day closer
You a day
to God
closer.
introducing you to whom that person is.
Yep. So we go live every Tuesday,
Yes.
8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I think the last live we did, we talked about uh, Ishmael always coming before Isaac. So go back and go to the live tab on our channel, the live tab, and you'll see all of the replays of the lives. And so, but turn on your notification, join us live on Tuesdays. We'd love to. Of course, you're not going to be on camera, but you have an opportunity to comment and all that, and we would love to,
Hear your thoughts.
communicate. Yeah,
Yeah.
hear your thoughts. And if you ever wanted to come on camera,
Yes.
let us know. Hit us up at terrenceandjill@gmail.com, and we'll bring you on. You may want to share your testimony of
Yeah.
finding love or share your thoughts about your single season and all that great stuff.
Yes, because you can inspire someone else that's also waiting.
Yes, who's also in that say, I can like I could not see. So I feel like a little bit better. But yeah, so also follow us on TikTok, Terrence and Jill, a God-Ordained Union, and yeah.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to building a relationship with you.
Yes. So make sure you come back. Turn on your notifications, subscribe,
Yes.
share our videos, and come back.
Mm.
Come back. All right. Woo! So what we talking about today, baby?
Today we're talking about the importance of alone time.
Yeah. I think we got an unfair advantage though. I'm gonna tell you why. Because we were both loners
Mm.
and we both enjoyed our time alone.
Yeah.
So this is kind of an unfair advantage. Talking about this subject to those who are in their single season. Um, but I guess we're gonna share why alone time is so powerful.
Yes.
And not just from our selfish point of view, because we liked alone time.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah. So I think the first thing is that to give a distinction between when God said it's not good for man to be alone, and when He also
Mm.
said that we need our alone time. So
That's a good distinction too,
what
because they
is?
both are true.
Yeah,
They both are true. For an example, when God said it's not good for man to be alone, He wasn't thinking about him spending alone time. He was thinking about, well, I have a plan for man, and man can't accomplish the things that I need him to accomplish. He can't, they can't bear children and grow and expand without him having a mate to do that with.
Yeah, because Adam wasn't lonely.
No,
He
he
was just,
wasn't lonely. Adam didn't even know he was alone.
he didn't even know he needed, yeah. So yeah, so when it talks about the it's not good for man to be alone, that's because of the purpose that God
Yes.
has for us. So he
Yes.
designed us to be in community. So
Yes.
what's the other part why it's powerful, why alone time is powerful?
Well, the biggest reason I believe alone time is powerful because it allows you to get away from distractions and focus solely on God and
Mm-hmm.
His Word and His purpose for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that helps you be able to concentrate, also to hear His voice when He's speaking to you. Sometimes we can't hear because of the noise. So
Yeah.
being by ourselves allow us to get away from the distractions and be
Mm-hmm.
able to hear and decipher His voice from everything else.
Mm-hmm. So like when Jesus went up to the mount to
And that's probably one of the best examples is what Jesus did.
he went alone. He didn't take
Mhm.
anybody, none of the disciples, and he went up. And one of the things when you have your alone time and you are the the main reason of your alone time is so that you can develop your communication with the Father, with God. When Jesus went up, he was also tempted. So you need to know the difference between the voice of God and the voice of the enemy. So God will always speak to you, and he will test you in the areas where he is strengthening you.
Mhm.
But the enemy will come
Oh,
will to tempt you in the areas that you're weak in. So when God, let me say that again, the areas that God is strengthening you in, he will test you. So, for instance, if he's developing patience in you, then he may, um, for an example, introduce you to your person, but it may be a process before that person, I don't know, says, will you go out on a date? So, God will test you because he's been strengthening you in that area. On the flip side, the enemy, what he will do, he will take your weakness. So if you're weak in being patient, he will take that as a weakness and tempt you
mm,
to fail. So
yeah,
being alone, it helps you to strengthen your spiritual ears and your spiritual eyes to hear and see God and to hear and see what God is showing you. And so that is the powerful thing with the alone
yeah.
time, is because you're going to need it, because it's like having your GPS.
Mhm.
And if you don't learn the voice of God, and you can only do it in your alone time, you will miss. And a lot of you all are right in you keep missing it because you're distracted.
Mhm.
You're distracted.
Yeah.
You're distracted. Um, you want to say something, baby?
I was gonna say one of the best things that happened for me is I've had some jobs where I've had to drive an hour plus one way to get to work. So what I used to do in those times is I used to listen back then because I'm older than a lot of you. So back then we used to have the cassettes. I used to just put it in the car and I listened to the Bible, the New Testament on cassettes on my way to work and then on my way home. And it built a hunger and a thirst for me to want to hear the word. And so my alone time, I started using it just to hear the word. And it started feeding my desire to want to know more about it. And that's how I really got so excited about the word, is that I've spent so much time by myself just listening to it over and over and over again.
Wow. That brought up 2 points, two main points. So when those of you who don't know the story, just a really brief snippet of our story. But I suggest you go back to our first, like, I think it's like the second video we've ever done, like 3 years ago. You'll hear how we met. But in the period that God showed me who Terrence was, um, and and all through from that moment, I kind of went in shutdown mode, and I didn't tell too many people. And even the people who I told, like my best girlfriends then, I did not, I was very alone in this in this endeavor, in this experience. And I purposely um said I wanted to do this alone. Like I didn't share anything because I knew that God was working in this and I needed to hear his instructions. So I would never forget one time I made a comment, and when Terrence and I started dating, and at first Terrence kept coming to my house in Raleigh. Like he kept coming that, or like every weekend or every other weekend, he would come. And I remember I mentioned that to one of my girlfriends, like he's coming to my house. And she said, because we lived 2 hours away from each other apart, we were quote unquote long distance. And I remember she saying to me, one of my girlfriends said, you don't have a problem with him always coming to you and he's not inviting you to his house? I said, nope. But the enemy, that right there, the enemy could have gotten into my ear and could have made me, well, what is it? Yeah, he tried. Yes, he tried to get in my ear, and I said, nope, I don't feel any type of way. And I was sharing with somebody the other day when he did invite me to his house in Charlotte, well, down here in Charlotte. The second time I came down, he proposed. And so, and sometimes, so your alone time is so vital in your single season, is because God is really speaking to you. Like he is telling you, he is navigating you. And so you've got to be very careful of being distracted from other people's opinions, from other people's views, from other people's advice. When he is that, and only your alone time. And I was telling Terrence, I believe that I was able to shut down at that point and not share everything, is because all through my single season, I had practiced being alone, like very careful of what I say and who I say it to, and even going to the Father in deep prayer and fasting and just seeking him, because that alone time is vital. The second point I wanted to make is that when we were planning our wedding, I had relocated to Charlotte, and so, but I still had my job in Raleigh, Durham. So I was commuting 3 times a week back and forth, 2 hours one way, 2 hours the next. And one of my girlfriends, who's a minister, um, I was in the part, I was in the mines, I was complaining about the commute. And she said, Jill, she said, the Lord told me to tell you that on your commutes, you're to listen to nothing but the word. And I was saying, oh my God, it's really going to be a daunting, like it's really going to be a daunting ride. Like that's like, at least if I was able to get on the phone with my family and help talk about the wedding. But she gave me those, she said she heard from her, and it was like specific instructions. So I was so obedient. And I think for 6 months I commuted back and forth 2 hours each way with just listening to the word. And when I was listening to the word and having that alone time, like meditating on what he was saying, and it really started to really resonate of what type of wedding, like the atmosphere we wanted with the wedding, and even thinking about the altar call, just so many things that started coming to me, that the Lord started dropping in my spirit. And it couldn't have been no other way. And we had a beautiful, everything that it was that alone time was so vital. It was so powerful in making our day so special. And so those of you who are who don't like being alone and need people to always, you always gotta go out, always gotta be busy, you need to start, because the person who God has for you, again, you could be missing it because you're not listening to God's instructions on what to do and how to do it and what not to do.
And here's the thing, not to be sarcastic or anything, but if you don't like being by yourself, who do you think will like being with you?
Ooh.
And you talking about getting married, which means you looking for someone to spend the rest of your life with, which means every single day. So if you can't even stand to be by yourself right now, then that might be a sign that you need to grow in some areas because
Yeah.
you need the person that you want to be with to
Yeah.
like to be around you. And if you don't
Right.
like to do it yourself, then you can't
Right.
complain if someone else don't
Just
like to be
don't.
around you
Ooh,
either.
that's such a good point. That's such a
So
good
that's
point.
another reason why you're in your grooming spirit,
In single
your
season.
single season, taking advantage of learning who you are and learning what you need to grow in and what God is developing in you. So
Mm-hmm.
when you meet that individual, you're able to be the best version of yourself at that particular moment.
Yeah, for that season. I also heard on TikTok, I just heard a young lady say that she has a girlfriend who who's engaged now, and her girlfriend decided that she was going to go for her look for her wedding dress alone. And she got tons of family and friends. She's having a bridal party, bridesmaids and all that, but she specifically decided to go look for her wedding dress alone because this was the most important dress that she would ever wear, and she didn't want any distractions.
Wow.
She wanted to go and look for her dress without opinions, without, and she just how she felt when she put it on, and she didn't want nobody's opinions and not even her mother's. And it resonated with me because that's exactly what I did. I knew exactly the type of wedding dress I wanted. I knew we were having a garden wedding. I didn't want nobody to tell me that you need to have bling bling or you need to have this. I envisioned the type of dress I wanted. I didn't want this fabulous, fancy. I wanted a garden wedding dress. And so I that thing touched me so much to be able to hear when when God is speaking.
Right.
What do you This is what I'm putting in your spirit. I'm giving you this blessing. And yeah, so distractions, yeah.
Another reason why I believe alone time is good is because it allows you to build a habit, a safe space for you to go when you do need to hear from God
Yeah.
and know that you're going to be okay. And the reason why I say that is because once you get married, there's going to be some times when maybe you don't agree on everything, or maybe something isn't going exactly the way you want. If you've already built a relationship with God to where you know you can go to Him, then even when you get married, you can still have that place to go to say, Lord, I know you gave me a spouse, but
I still got a
but I
relationship with
still have a
you.
relationship with you and you're at the top.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to come to you to make sure that I'm hearing from you. So as we communicate, I don't communicate something that you didn't have
Mm-hmm.
in your will for our lives.
Right.
And
Right.
so
Yeah.
if you don't get used to that or build that relationship while you're single, then when you get married, you may find that your identity is being in question.
Yeah.
And you
Ooh.
need to
Ooh.
really, really know
And
your
you, yeah,
identity in a
and you're going to
marriage.
start making decisions based off of self and
Mhm.
selfishness because you have not trained yourself to hear the voice of
Yes.
God. Because even now, my alone time, Terrence knows my alone time, I'm going to take a hot
Mhm.
bath. And yes, while I love the physical benefits of it, I'm going, because we pray all the time together, I'm going as a wife to pray for my husband and our family, our children, grandchildren. I'm going to pray some specific prayers. That's my alone time. And it's powerful because it's alone time is
Mhm.
where you check in with God.
Mhm.
So, mhm,
Absolutely. That's another check and balance of being married. It's like you
mhm,
have so much that you're trying to do to become one,
mhm.
that there's a time when you actually need to have a check and balance within yourself to say, Lord, am I doing what I'm supposed to do?
And tell me what I'm not or what I need to
Yes.
do and where. Yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of people are missing it,
Mhm.
missing it. And so sometimes some of you could be wondering, what is the problem? The problem is that you're not listening. Somebody else made a powerful statement. I know we're about to wrap up. Somebody else made a powerful statement, and I don't want to get it wrong. Actually, let me make sure, because I want to, it was, this was so, this is the girl who talked about her friend decided to okay, but I want to make sure
Mhm.
Sorry, you all. But this is a powerful.
Yeah, so definitely working some alone time. And here's the thing too. While we talk about alone time, some of us feel like we're so busy, and that's another reason why you may not hear God as clearly as you want to hear Him or you think you should hear Him. So what we have to start doing too is it's almost like when you decide to do what my mom used to call spring cleaning in your home. You have to do that within your life sometimes. Make some room for God, clear some stuff out, some clutter, and get rid of it so you can free up. Even if it's only 15 minutes a day, just clear up some time so you can have that time to study the word, to read the word, to pray, to do the things that you want to do while you're building that relationship. And it's going to benefit you tremendously as you go forward and as you grow spiritually.
Yeah. So I can't find it, but basically what she said was, um, the reason why you can't hear from God is because you have already um, um, programmed yourself to say what you want Him to hear what you want Him to say to you. And
Mm.
so yeah, so a lot of, though you could be wondering why you're missing it, is because you're not training yourself to hear from, you're not spending enough time alone to hear His instruction, but you're only listening to what you have programmed yourself to
Mm.
hear. So yeah, alone time is vital.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because it could be the person right next door to you, it could be your coworker, but you're not listening.
It could be that fella that you thought was a nerd, but he always showed you respect. He always showed you that he would treat you like a queen, but you just felt like he just wasn't the
Mm-hmm.
type of person that you could find yourself being with.
It could be the person who you think his car is raggedy.
Mm.
It could be, yeah. It could be someone out of town, but you don't want to relocate.
Mm.
So you gotta just, yeah, that's why you gotta have your alone time.
Hmm.
Your alone
So
time.
you can hear from the Holy Spirit and get directed accordingly.
Yes. And let me tell you something also real powerful, because when you spend in your alone time, when you're clearing your spiritual, and it's spiritual renewal. That's
Hmm.
what I want to say. It's spiritual renewal. What happens is when you go to sleep, you're in that spirit
Hmm.
realm. And so that's where instructions can start to come. That's
Mm.
when
Yes.
revelation will start to come. Is because you've had that alone time to check in spiritually, renew spiritually, and then now God is speaking. So when you go to pray, He does not necessarily give you the answer right then and there. He doesn't, so, but you've got to develop your own
Hmm.
relationship and rhythm with
So
God.
you know his voice
So
when you
His
hear it.
voice when you hear it, when He speaks.
Mm.
So yeah, so that's why alone time is powerful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So all right, baby.
So we won't keep you guys anymore tonight. We just want to
No.
reach out and touch somebody, and we
Yes.
pray that this has done just that it
Yes.
touched somebody.
Yes. Yeah. So all right, we'll see you on the next
No doubt.
video.
Deuces.
Deuces.